Can you hear me now? Okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to do an action, and those that can imitate it. I've done too many of these readings when the phone has screwed up everything. Listen to the cacophony. She just said she doesn't know how to do that. She's never turned it off. Now, I'm going to do something that for me is a new idea. I hope you enjoy it. I hope the people that are here to help me with this are here. I know that Elizabeth is here. In the second half, what I'm going to do is read for like 15, 20 minutes or so. After which you can take a break, stretch your legs, and I'm going to come back. And in the second part, I wrote a poem that I sent out to various friends and colleagues who translated it into different languages. So to start with, I didn't intend, just to be a celebration of the poem. That's not the point. The idea was to take a kind of ordinary English love poem, which I wrote some time ago, and have my colleagues translate it into different languages. And I leave it to you to decide whether the idea is successful or not. This is an experiment. That's why I'm here. I'm trying to make an experiment in language. Okay? All right. Now, aside from that, I'll start with an earlier piece, which struck me as interesting because it struck me as strangely contemporary, even though it was written some time ago. And I hope you enjoy it. And it's simply called Mr. White, Breakfast, and the Beach Cafe. Hope has no metaphor or purple passage to words unspoken, or ocean spray crashing to cleanse meaning with feelings of classical restraint. The solipsistic white conceived it so, traversing the silent morning sounds en route to the beach cafe. With private pleasure, he recalled his childhood day and how the breath of hope swung in the ancient trees with him and laughter and peace of mind. Transcending the known adult world in arching movements that lacked of speech to explain itself. The quintessential experienced as pure consciousness in fleeting minutes of revelation. Youthful thoughts happening unexpressed and perfect in their naturalness, unlike in every way the prejudice his wrinkled heart observes in public thoroughfares filled with loud sojourners who in their dissident refrains display the modern tones they've read and never understood. In old White's view, failed thinkers gossiping others' thoughts as if their own. Diatribes of descending cold upon the budding truth, whose garden died and stands alone. An authentic blood, now forgotten and depraved, bought sudden, 'neath a dull rain. Their blather did it, White intones to his dismay. It reminded him of primate power, unbridled vituperative and false erudition that serves no purpose other than display. The kind that chimpanzees exchange in documentaries on TV. White taps his hat, seeks out a place by the aspidistra, and sits upright to his ceremonial repast upon a starch-round linen tablecloth. Creamed coffee, eggs and fries, rye toast and marmalade. And all the while, within his silent frame, his trenchant mood feels the millennium end as stark and bleeding as it began. When he was a boy, still then, insensitive to religious truths, good governance, true empathy. With Grail in hand, he opens to the opinion page, his thick grey brows curved to mitigate the pain his aged heart feels for journalists in foreign lands, who write of fire and fallen dreams, as the dust of empires rise and fall in reenactments of timeless tribal dreads, clotted at their core, that love's not reason, consideration, and spills like blood across the page. As if he had been at Agincourt, war wounds pull at his mind again. Rested, he is in a sympathetic mood, rationalizing vague AP reports with, journalists have bills to pay. Nonetheless, he does not believe the facts are true, at least dubious approximations. He knows the truth about Normandy, but still he heaves a vacant sigh of hope that men will find peace one day. A thought which leaves him floats out across the tabletop, the breakfast plates, the solitary rose that decorates the place before him and stands alone, in contrast to the contentious world. Europe, the Orient, Africa collide on the second page in the laconic prose of an overview. Pouring another coffee, he prods his toast, surveys his thoughts, and hopes hope will continue after him, and men will amend their ways. The cafe crowd he scans drifts out towards the gorgeous day, while wishing he was not so addicted to the news that leans against the sugar bowl stained with ketchup and sad policy. The ship of fools is multilateral, he murmurs to himself. His grey moustache bending in a grin. There is ubiquitous calm in that. And at that conjunction of thought and love, he sees renewed the world's infinity of lives, art, and governance, when reason no longer will succumb to dust and places the gardeners cannot go, and reason be so enshrined in every living thing that logic will no longer be anathema to love. Now, in a different mood entirely. This is called Imperium. I have become oriented to light in the distant, dark. Details on great seas, silence and gravity. Only the moon can shine upon. My big male tabby, for example, halfway up a palm tree at midnight in search of imaginary prey, while the greyhounds in the backyard bark all night after his silhouette has stirred their ears. Tonight is a new moon. A beautiful day rises from below as we spin away from the sun, making silhouettes on the horizon. Beds freshly watered unfurl their leaves, drink in their moment of glory. Dogs, cats, me, the garden are all spinning away from the sun, but none are dizzy. Sunlight on the grass sparkles as the crazy female Siamese lays like a leopard, lightening the bright day with her yellow eyes. I'm thankful I have this little space, this realm of peace, as big as a paper moon. This turf, place, where we all rest sometime. I have known too much to be sad, seen too much to be happy all the time, felt too much to be indifferent, loved too often to be quiet to myself, under the underrated silence majesty of a cat in the moon. Cats tease dogs, I tease the both of them. The big sun rolls, I write my journal, think on minutes already gone, listen to Mozart coming from the kitchen, and close the screen door. This is another poem about cats. I'm very fond of cats. This is called I Don't Trust Cats. I don't trust cats. They pour into your soul softly in the quiet of night, like a woman looking for body warmth after an argument. I don't trust cats. They dart around at night in the bedroom, almost knocking things over like a woman anxious again after being caressed. I don't trust cats. They don't believe a word after all you have done and do for them. Love them and change their liquids frequently. This painting, interesting Freudian slip. This poem is called Wet Fingers. I have to deal with lassitude all the time. And the juvenile part of life that shapes this poem. Fine then. Let a man of 62 drunken life say this: the computer is to the humanist not the end but the beginning of poetry. A new poetry, a hot, electric poetry, tempering hope into an idea, tomorrow into recollection. All on a flash drive. Read all about it. Can you hear me now? Cool. New images in ink in the cartridge on the printer. But still I like my ink-stained hands, drawing the bayou with the kids, summertime. Now, I dug up something not really from the past, but recent past, and thinking about as a Memorial Day is coming up, and I had never read this before. It's been published, but I'd never read it. So this is basically my response to what is called the Greatest Generation. It's called The Flyboy. Most of love is waiting for the mammalian call to subside after nature's vibrations have been satisfied. So much music, words, and art, for an hour at best of intense emotion. And yet, I have known couples who have not had sex for decades and love with great intensity in gestures infused with music, art. At the hospice, Doris feeds Jack, her hero aviator, his soup at noon. each and every day. A young man once, he flew in the battle of the Coral Sea. He talks incessantly about Vince, his wingman, who saved his life and lost his own. Being a little uncomfortable with their intimacy, the nurses leave as she slides the spoon into his mouth. All he can do is look at her and ask for his cap, even though he isn't flying anywhere. Today, at least. Thank you. I'll be back in a little while.